Question 46 says the volume of a sphere is 2,400 cubic centimeters. What is the approximate diameter of this sphere? Alright, so if we have a sphere, alright, the volume of the sphere is given by the equation 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay. Now, imagine you have a sphere here, okay, and I'm just going to try and draw like a little rough 3D drawing of what a sphere should look like. Alright, so it's obviously we have this round ball shape here, okay, and the radius is going to be from the inside here to the top, to the edge, however you want to think about it. Okay, that distance right there is our r value, the radius. So the diameter is what we're looking for in this problem. The diameter will end up equaling 2 times whatever radius we need. So we have this equation, 2,400 is the volume, and I'm going to set that equal to the formula for volume, which is 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, so I want to solve this for r, and then once I know r, I'll just double it and get the diameter. So here's how we do this. First, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. Alright, if I multiply this side by 3 and this side by 3, since I was dividing by 3 here from the 4/3, even though it's a fraction, that's still acting like we're dividing 4 by 3, and then we're multiplying everything else, so multiplying by 3 and dividing by 3 cancels out, and I'll be left with 4 pi r cubed equals, multiply this side by 3, and you get 7,200. Alright, now I'm going to go back and divide everything by 4 pi. Alright, since we have 4 pi over here with the r cubed, if I divide both sides by 4 pi, that will leave me, these cancel each other out, and I'll be left with r cubed. Okay, so the radius cubed. Now, 7,200 divided by 4 pi. If I type that in my calculator, divided by 4 pi, and I'm going to use the actual pi button. If you hit second on your calculator and the exponent button, that gives you the pi symbol. And this ends up being about 5,650. Whoops, and I'll take that back because what I did, and this is very easy to do, I typed in my calculator, I'll show you this, I typed in 7,200 divided by 4 pi. What I forgot to do is put parentheses around the 4 pi. So the calculator thought I meant 72 divided by 4 and then or 7,200 divided by 4 and all of that times pi. Okay, so I've got to put parentheses around it. So let me retype that in my calculator real quick. And that is going to give me a total of 500, right about 573. Okay? Now, we don't really have a button on our calculator to do cube roots, but if you remember, in class we talked about if you have something to the second or to the 1/2 power, that is the same as the square root of r. So if I want to do try to get rid of a cubed function, and again, square roots get rid of r squared. So if you take the square root of r squared, those cancel each other out, and you would be left with r, right? So if I want to cancel out a cubed, I've got to do a cube root. So I'm trying to figure out how to do the cube root of r3. Well, if I raise this to the 1/3 power, alright, that is the same thing as the cube root. And if you look at this, remember what happens when we have an exponent raised to another? We multiply them. 3 times 1/3 is going to become 1, which r to the first is just r. Okay, this would equal r to the 3/3, which is r to the 1, which is just r. Okay, so that's how I got from this step to this right here. Over here, since I raised this side to the 1/3, I have to raise this side to the 1/3. So in my calculator, I would type in 573, use the exponent button, do that to the 1/3 power in parentheses, and if I do that in my calculator, I'd come up with about 8.3. Okay, so that means my radius is going to be 8.3. Now that answer is here, but remember, we're not looking for radius, we're looking for the diameter. So I know it's not c, and I know it's not going to be smaller than the radius, but if I do 2 times my radius of 8.3, that gives me a total of 16.6. So it's right about 16.6 when we round it off, and our answer is A.